Skip Bayless, the enigma that revolves around him in sports media. Supposedly the odd man out right now. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Skip Bayless, as his show is currently on life support. Ever since Shannon Sharpe left Undisputed, Skip Bayless has been in need of a new co-host, and long story short, it has been a brutal search for who Skip Bayless could truly team up with on Undisputed. With ESPN doing a major round of layoffs, you would think that Undisputed would have a laundry list of candidates to choose from, but that just simply has not been the case whatsoever. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So here it is. What will happen to Skip Bayless in Undisputed moving forward? And honestly, there's two parts to this question. There's the Skip Bayless part to this question, and then there's the show Undisputed to answer. And so let's talk about Skip Bayless first. What's going to happen to Skip Bayless? Well, this could be the end of Skip Bayless's career as we know it. We've known Skip Bayless to be a shock jock. We've known Skip Bayless to be a guy that makes crazy hot takes. We've known Skip Bayless to make remarks about LeBron James that are not very favorable towards him. We've known Skip Bayless to become a Cowboys fanboy, and we've also known Skip Bayless to be a huge fanboy of Tom Brady. However, here's the problem though. Tom Brady retired, and it seems like Tom Brady's going to retire for good. Skip Bayless based most of his show off of Tom Brady. Now that Tom Brady has left the game of football, now I'm starting to wonder how Undisputed will even function during football season, because Skip Bayless, all he does is talk about the Cowboys and Tom Brady. Problem is though, Tom Brady left, so now it's there to talk about just the Cowboys. And what are we going to listen to Skip Bayless for? So he can hate on Aaron Rodgers? Come on, man, I could just listen to the mainstream media if I wanted to listen to people hating on Aaron Rodgers, which by the way, people should not be hating on Aaron Rodgers. He's an all-time great quarterback, top 10 greatest quarterbacks ever. He's a 4-time MVP winner, and Aaron Rodgers is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the National Football League. Aaron Rodgers is what got me into the sport, but let's talk about Skip Bayless though. Skip Bayless has been a guy that's been debating with Shannon Sharpe for 7 years, and then he debated with Stephen A. Smith for a very long time. Skip Bayless has been used to debating one partner every single day during football and basketball season, and heck, he even works during the summer too, though not this summer because Undisputed has been on hiatus. According to a report from Mike Florio, he's the guy that's involved with NBC Sports. He's talking about how Skip Bayless is struggling to not show up on air. Skip Bayless has been really wanting to come back on air so he can give his reactions on NBA free agency and make predictions on the NFL season. For Skip Bayless to take as much time as he's gotten off, I've known that deep down it's got to hurt Skip Bayless, because Skip Bayless is a guy that's committed to his work. We all know that Skip Bayless would rather die on Undisputed than retire, and I'm thinking about how Skip Bayless is going to be struggling to not show up in sports media. So Skip Bayless, he's going to still try to find a way to come back in there, but I think this could legitimately be the end of him. He might have to focus on his podcast full time, the podcast that almost nobody watches. And here's what I got to say about Skip Bayless, man. He's had a great media career. He's made the debate shows a lot more interesting. He's made Embrace Debate a real thing. But honestly, different generations means different rules. Different rules mean different interests. And honestly, we're transitioning right now in the country as a generation. Now we're moving on to a new generation, and it seems like Skip Bayless, he's going to have to reinvent himself if he wants to stay relevant in the sports media world, because right now the current generation seems like they don't care much for Embrace Debate. The current sports generation seems to care more about let's tackle down woke politics that are going on in sports. That seems to be the current theme of this generation. So Skip Bayless, he's going to have to reinvent himself. Maybe he'll have to pull Stephen A. Smith and do rotating guests each and every day and have a different debate partner every day, because it seems like no one wants to go ahead and debate with him 5 days a week. And I don't blame those people for not wanting to do that, because they know that they're not going to be the star on the show, and that Skip Bayless, the show revolves around him at all times. And I don't think a lot of people are willing to sign up for it, particularly those that have a high ambition. Now let's talk about what's going to happen to Undisputed moving forward. Do I think Undisputed is going to shut down? Heck no. I think Undisputed is still going to be airing, and the show will still go on. Even if they have to get rid of Skip Bayless in order to make it work, they will still air on, because FS1 needs a show to fill time with in the morning, and Undisputed is a great way to fill that in. And so there's a lot of candidates that were supposed to be theoretically a good fit next to Skip Bayless. You think about the in-house candidates, LeSean McCoy, Emmanuel Acho, Joey Taylor, Nick Wright, and then you think about some external options. You're thinking about how ESPN did a major round of layoffs. You're thinking about how Max Kellerman is now available. There's Keyshawn Johnson, he's also available as well. Then there's Jay Williams. ESPN's basically letting his contract expire. He's not going to return to ESPN next year. Then there's the dark horse candidate that is called Michael Irvin. He's technically still an employer at ESPN on First Take, although he hasn't showed up on the show in months. months. That's because of the fact that Michael Irvin has been bogusly suspended for false accusations made against Michael Irvin. And I don't think ESPN is going to bring Michael Irvin back because ESPN is in a money crunch right now. They have to save money, and Michael Irvin is going to be a casualty cut. And besides, he's under suspension. So that's going to be an easy excuse for ESPN to move on from Michael Irvin. So those are some candidates that I just came up with. And I also talked about how they could be rotating co-hosts. So Monday, Skip Bayless might be debating one guy. Then Tuesday, it might be another guy debating. It's going to be an off formula show. It's going to have to be different. I don't think the Skip Bayless and find a loudmouth black guy is going to necessarily work because it's been like that for so long, and maybe it's just time for a change up. Now, Skip Bayless has been relatively successful what he's been doing the last 20 years, but now people want different things at different times. What people wanted 15, 20 years ago is not the same thing as what they want right now. It's as simple as that. I mean, the most realistic options, like I said, that are involving being the co-host of Undisputed, they involve Michael Irvin, LeSean McCoy, and Max Kellerman. Those are the three main candidates that I think have a legitimate shot to replace Shannon Sharpe on Undisputed. Now, I want to talk about some of the other options that could potentially be at play, but I don't really consider them to be serious options. So I've heard Jay Williams be a potential option on Undisputed. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't really see Jay Williams in a debate type of format show 5 days a week. He's kind of more so an analyst, more so than a sports debater. So I'm going to have to rule out Jay Williams. I've also heard of Nick Wright. I'm not a fan of that as well because Nick Wright and Skip Bayless would be having two guys that everybody hates going up against each other, and nobody would watch that show. So I'm going to have to rule out Nick Wright. Plus, they got the First Things First show to take care of, and they have to put Nick Wright on Undisputed. First Things First could potentially shut down. I don't think a lot of people would be a fan of that. So I think Nick Wright with Skip Bayless, that's not going to be a fit. Other than there's Emmanuel Acho, the guy that always loves to give out hot takes on Speak. Some people have listed him as a good option for Skip Bayless because he can come out with some firing hot takes, but I don't think Emmanuel Acho is going to do that because if Emmanuel Acho leaves Speak, then that means Speak has no more identity whatsoever because Emmanuel Acho is the star of the show called Speak, and if Emmanuel Acho leaves Speak, that show is going to cease to exist. And FS1 has to take care of that as well because that's part of the rotation on their channel in terms of the shows that are being played during the daytime. So I don't think Emmanuel Acho to Undisputed is a great idea. And then, of course, there's Keyshawn Johnson with Skip Bayless. I actually thought this could have been a possibility, but I don't think Keyshawn Johnson and Skip Bayless have a great relationship, and I'm not really sure how that show will really work anyway, so I'm going to have to rule out Keyshawn Johnson. And here's a candidate that I've heard gain some traction. I kind of like this option. I kind of don't. I see some benefits. I don't see some benefits, and this is Joy Taylor. Joy Taylor used to be the host on Undisputed. She used to be the moderator with Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless. Joy Taylor is now a sports talker on Speak, and we know that her relationship with Skip Bayless is actually pretty rock solid, which you can't say about a lot of these candidates. Joy Taylor is actually one of the rare people that can get along with Skip Bayless. Question is, though, does Joy Taylor actually fit for what the audience is looking for? I don't think most of the audience would want to watch Joy Taylor debate with Skip Bayless. If that's the case, people are just going to change the channel and just watch something else because Joy Taylor is not a market draw, and Skip Bayless knows that. As much as he might like Joy Taylor for being able to get along with Skip Bayless, at the end of the day, Skip Bayless knows that the media is cutthroat when it comes to making business decisions. So I'm going to have to rule out Joy Taylor, and this rotating co-host idea that I just threw out, that's a potential option where Skip Bayless, he can debate one guy on Monday, debate another guy on Tuesday, and they just bring in a rotating guest of panelists until they can find an actual replacement for Shannon Sharpe. I've potentially thought about it. I'm not going to rule it out, but I'm not going to predict that's going to happen as well because I don't think Skip Bayless wants that to happen deep down. And so, like I said, though, it comes down to three options. It comes down to Michael Irvin, LeSean McCoy, or Max Kellerman. Now, if you want to go ahead and hire Max Kellerman, Skip Bayless, you would have to understand that Max Kellerman has a limited ceiling. You know what you're getting with Max Kellerman on the shows. He can give you some stuff that's really good, but he can also be really boring at times. Max Kellerman is not a media star, but Max Kellerman is a really good number 2 option. And if Skip Bayless is just looking for a solid number 2 option that raises the floor in terms of ratings, Max Kellerman is your guy. However, I'm sure that Skip Bayless still wants to remain at the top of the top, and having Max Kellerman on Undisputed might not be a great idea. I say that because Skip Bayless could easily just ask Stephen A. Smith, hey, what's it like working with Max Kellerman? And if Stephen A. Smith doesn't give a ringing endorsement of Max Kellerman, I can promise you that Skip Bayless will not hire Max Kellerman like the co-host with him on Undisputed. So like I said, it comes down to Michael Irvin or LeSean McCoy. Now LeSean McCoy, he's only got 1 year in the media as a sports debater, but we know that LeSean McCoy hates on the Dallas Cowboys, and we know that LeSean McCoy is a big Eagles fan, and Skip Bayless loves talking about the Cowboys, so that could be a really interesting fit. And the show's name would be really good too. They have a saying on the show that Skip and Shannon, well, it could change to Skip and Shady because that's LeSean McCoy's nickname. And they have a show called Skip and Shady. It's going to catch on the ringtone of a lot of these people, and it's a catchy phrase, so I kind of like that option as well. It's just the only thing is, does LeSean McCoy have enough experience to team up with Skip Bayless? And that's the question Skip Bayless is probably going to ask himself. And then of course there's Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin could be a potential candidate. The only thing that's holding up Michael Irvin right now is how much longer is he going to be under suspension, and is ESPN finally going to part ways with him? If Michael Irvin can be a 5-day debater with Skip Bayless, that would be must-watch TV. But Michael Irvin, I don't know what he wants in his life right now. Michael Irvin knows that he might be too good to be working in sports media moving forward, and that he can go independent. But we'll see what happens with Michael Irvin. We'll see though. Like I said though, it comes down to either Michael Irvin or LeSean McCoy, with Max Kellerman being a distant third option as to who Skip Bayless could be finding to replace Shannon Sharpe. But I'll say this much though, it's clear that Undisputed is struggling to find replacements for Shannon Sharpe, and that there's no clear-cut fit for Shannon Sharpe whatsoever. Skip Bayless is going to have to reinvent himself if he wants to stay relevant in sports media. So that is why this might be the end of Skip Bayless's media career in terms of relevance, but that Undisputed will still be able to exist in some shape or form where it will still be recognizable. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Like the video and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @Dustin Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @Dustin Tran and @Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @Dustin Tran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video. Comment down below. Check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.